Don't compare yourself with others. A life-changing story. There once was a young boy named Eli. Eli lived in a quiet village surrounded by fields, rivers, and tall mountains. He was curious about everything. He always wanted to learn, to grow, to become someone great. But deep inside, Eli carried a heavy burden. He could not stop comparing himself to others. When he saw his friend Jonah run faster, his heart sank. When he saw his neighbor Leah sing beautifully, his chest tightened. When he watched older boys carve wood, build houses, or play instruments, he felt small. Why am I not like them? Eli whispered to himself. Why can't I be as strong or as talented or as smart? Each day, he measured his worth by what others could do. And each day, he found himself lacking. He woke up tired, his mind already chasing shadows. He went to sleep restless, replaying the victories of others. Slowly, Eli's joy faded, replaced by envy and sadness. The villagers liked Eli. He was kind, gentle, and thoughtful. But Eli could not see these things. He only saw what he was not. One evening, Eli sat alone near the riverbank. The water rippled softly under the golden glow of sunset. He picked up a stone and tossed it into the stream. Circles spread across the water, then disappeared. Just like me, Eli sighed. Nothing I do lasts. Nothing I do matters. As he sat there, lost in his thoughts, an old man appeared. His back was bent, his hair silver, and his eyes calm like the still water. He carried a walking stick, carved with strange patterns. The old man watched Eli for a moment, then asked, "Why does your face look so heavy, young one?" Eli hesitated, but something about the man's presence felt safe. So he poured out his heart. He spoke of Jonah's speed, Leah's voice, the strength of others, and his own sense of weakness. The old man listened quietly, never interrupting. When Eli finished, silence hung in the air. Only the river spoke, whispering against the rocks. Finally, the old man said, "Come with me." Eli followed. They walked to a meadow just outside the village. In the meadow stood many trees, tall oaks, thin birches, wide chestnuts, and delicate cherry trees with soft blossoms. The old man pointed to the trees and asked, "Tell me, Eli, which tree is the best?" Eli frowned. "I don't know. The oak is strong. The cherry tree is beautiful. The chestnut gives food. The birch is tall and graceful. Each is good in its own way." The old man nodded. "And do the trees argue among themselves? Does the cherry tree envy the oak? Does the oak feel small next to the birch?" Eli shook his head. "Of course not. They are just trees. They grow as they are meant to grow." The old man's eyes softened. "Exactly. Each tree has its own gift, its own season, its own purpose. And so do you, Eli." The words entered Eli's heart like sunlight breaking through clouds. But the old man was not finished. He bent down, picked up 2 seeds from the ground, and placed them in Eli's hand. One was from an oak, the other from a flower. "Take these," he said. "Plant them side by side and watch." So Eli did. Day after day, he watered the seeds. The flower sprouted quickly. Within weeks, it bloomed bright, colorful, full of life. People who passed by admired its beauty. But the oak seed was slow. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. At first, only a tiny sprout appeared. Next to the radiant flower, it seemed weak and unimpressive. Eli felt the old habit of comparison rise inside him. He almost gave up on the oak, but he remembered the old man's words, and he kept watering. The seasons changed. The flower lived brightly for a while, but soon its petals withered. Its stem bent. Its roots gave way. By the next season, the flower was gone. The oak, however, continued to grow. Slowly, patiently. But with each year, it stretched higher, its roots digging deeper. Years later, the oak stood tall and unshakable, giving shade, strength, and life to all around it. Eli finally understood. Some are flowers, bright, quick, admired in their moment. Some are oaks, slow, steady, strong, built to last. Both have beauty, both have purpose, but neither is meant to be the other. The old man returned one evening, leaning on his stick. He looked at the oak, and then at Eli. "Now tell me," he said, "which was better, the flower or the oak?" Eli smiled for the first time in a long while. "Neither is better. They are different. Each is as it should be." The old man placed his hand on Eli's shoulder. "So it is with people. You were never meant to be Jonah or Leah or anyone else. You were meant to be Eli, and that is enough." Tears filled Eli's eyes, but they were not tears of sadness. They were tears of release. For the first time, he felt light. From that day, Eli stopped measuring his worth against others. He began to see himself as a tree in the meadow, unique, necessary, and full of quiet gifts. When Jonah ran fast, Eli cheered. When Leah sang, he listened with joy. And when he carved wood, or told stories, or offered kindness, he no longer doubted the value of his own path. Eli's life changed, not because he became stronger or faster, but because he saw with new eyes. He discovered peace in being himself. And as the years passed, Eli grew like the oak he had planted, steady, rooted, unshakable. The story of Eli is also the story of us. How often do we look at others and feel small? How often do we compare our beginnings to someone else's middle? How often do we forget that flowers and oaks are never meant to be the same? Comparison steals joy. It blinds us to our own gifts. It makes us chase lives that were never meant for us. But when we stop comparing, when we accept our own path, we find peace. Some people will shine early, like flowers. Others will take time, like oaks. Both are beautiful. Both are needed. And you too are needed, just as you are. So do not compare yourself with others. Instead, nurture your own roots. Grow at your own pace. And trust that your season will come, because it will. Like Eli, you will discover that your worth is not measured by being like someone else. Your worth is found in being fully, deeply, beautifully yourself. Dear listener, thank you for joining me in this story. If it touched your heart, if it gave you hope, I ask you to carry this lesson into your life. Remember, flowers and oaks, rivers and mountains, stars and the moon all shine in their own way, and so do you. Never forget that. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Together, we will continue to walk through stories that heal, inspire, and remind us of the light within us all. Until next time, may your days be gentle, may your nights be peaceful, and may your heart always remember you are enough.